please double check that your Spotify is not on shuffle, because that will change the vibe. But yeah, as I said, Bernie, I don't know if you heard, but a strap or like some sort of thin scarf that you can use or something, or a stick, and a blanket if you've got one, a thick blanket or towel or something. Alrighty, so when everyone's ready, I'd like you to press play on the playlist and just try and get it on a level that you can hear my voice pretty clearly. And mute your mic. Yeah, thanks. Try and get it on a level that you can hear my voice and the music, because I won't be speaking too much. So the music is really going to help take us away today. Whew. All right, first thing I'm going to get you to do is grab your blanket or your towel. I want you to try and roll it up so you can sit on it. So we're providing ourselves some elevation. So I want you to sit, find your thanks for playing with me today, guys, because this is a bit different. So find your sitting bones, which are those two little bones on your butt. And I want you to try and sit kind of on the edge of the towel. So I'll show you. So we're not sitting like on the towel like this. I want you to come forward. So we're opening up our hips a little bit, so it gives our knees a bit of elevation to fall down. If the towel is not big enough, that's okay. Alternatively, you could sit like this. You can roll the towel up and sit it in between your legs, and then we're just sitting back on our heels. But it's whatever's a more comfortable seat and position for you. I alternate. So today I'm going to start like this. But I'm working to open up our hip space. Beautiful. So when you find your comfortable seat, I want you to create a hand mudra, which is like a hand posture. We're going to connect our thumb and our index fingers together. This is called an energy lock. So ideally, our energy is not flowing out everywhere. So once we do this, I want you to place your palms down on your knees. Close your eyes over. And take a few deep breaths. I want you to think about your exhale as if it's cleansing. So you're inhaling light, exhaling any sticky, dark, heavy energy you've got carrying around with you. As you breathe, I'm just going to let you know a little bit about today's class. So continue your breath work. I'm going to be teaching you two different breaths today. Breath, or prana, is very important in yoga and in life, funnily enough. And with that breath work, we're going to have a look at how we can create space. So start turning your attention inward. Can you find your mind's eye? Actually, you can slowly open your eyes and have a look at the camera for a sec. I'm going to show you your first pranayama or breath exercise. So today's called, the first one's Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana is a balancing breath. The idea behind it is that you have two nostrils, right? Your right hand side, your left hand side. I won't go into it too much, but each nostril has a different, I guess, purpose. So the balancing breath, or Nadi Shodhana, helps you find evenness between each nostril and find center. So during the day, you spend about every 90 minutes, you'll have a primary nostril and it will switch over. And so you'll notice a kind of flow during the day. So if we try and balance that out so we're breathing evenly through both nostrils, we can find a greater center internally. So I want you to grab your index finger and your middle finger, and your thumb is going to be out here, and the other two, your ring and your pinky, are kind of on your palm, but mine don't reach, right? So they're just hanging there. We're going to place your index finger and your middle finger on your third eye or your forehead, just above your eyebrows. Your thumb can rest on your cheek. I'm trying to find which way is better for you guys. Can rest on your cheek. And you're going to use your ring finger, so your third finger. You're going to block, I'm really sorry, I didn't say this at the beginning. Can you use your right hand for me? So right hand comes to your temple. Your thumb is resting on your cheek. Your ring finger is going to just rest on your left nostril. Okay? Then your thumb is going to rest on your right nostril. So they're not pressing in yet, they're just resting there. So now we've got this strange, I'm going to come a bit closer so you guys can see that we've got this strange kind of, so we're just sitting here, okay? I want you to close over your, with your thumb, close over your right nostril. And we're going to breathe in through our left for 3, 2, 1. Close over your left, open your right, and breathe out for 3, 2, 1. Inhale with that right nostril for 3, 2, 1. Use your thumb, close over the right, and then open the left and breathe out of the left for 3, 2, 1. So we're going to follow that pattern. So breathing in through the left nostril for 3, 2, 1. Close over and opening up the right. Breathe out through the right for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. 3, 2, 1. Close over. Breathe out through the left for 3, 2, 1. I want you to go at your own pace now. Closing your eyes over. Now, sometimes this breath can bring things up. Sometimes we can feel a little anxious. I don't want that to feel like that, right? So if you're starting to feel a bit anxious, you can just imagine that you're closing over the left and right and just breathe through both. But this breath will get easier with time and eventually will become a breath that helps you brings you back to center. Your arm might be starting to get a little sore. That's okay. Try and shift your attention back to the feeling of your breath, inhaling through the tip of each nostril. You can imagine the breath as you inhale coming into the center in between your eyes where your fingers are touching, exhaling back down the other side. So again, today's practice is all about space, creating space. When we give ourselves time and permission to be focusing on our breath, to be feeling our breath, we can feel it deep down into the pits of our lungs and all the way up to the top of our head. 2 more rounds of this. So 2 more, inhale through right, exhale through left, inhale through left, exhale through right. And I want you to meet back and center with both palms on your knees. Eyes still closed over. And when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center, eyes are still closed. And notice if your breath feels a little different. How does it feel now to breathe evenly through both nostrils? I want you to set an intention for today's practice, and again, whatever that means to you. And bow your head to your heart center, paying yourself homage for coming today, lifting the head back up and releasing the hands back into your hand mudra, back onto your knees. And I'm going to teach you one more breath. This is called the Ujjayi breath, or the warrior breath. This breath is what, if you've been in a yoga class before, you might hear people breathing. The point to make your breath audible, which is what the Ujjayi breath does, is so that when you're in a physical movement, you can use another sense, so your hearing, to bring you back to your breath. So the Ujjayi breath works to make a sound, okay? So I don't know if you've ever, I'm sure you have, fogged up a glass or a window before. You make that like sound, right? So I want you to place your hand in front. I'm going to move closer to you again. Place your hand in front of your face, just a little bit in front. And we're going to play with our Ujjayi breath today. So pretend your hand is a mirror and you want to fog it up. So I want you all to try and do this, okay? Now, how can you make that sound without forcing your mouth open? So you feel it in the back of your nose. You can place your tongue on the top of your mouth, like that. And I want you to try and, I'm going to take this out so I can hear if I'm making the sound, but I want you to try and hear your own voice. So you should hear it right in the back of your throat. So it's like you're creating a kind of block and you're stopping all your breath from escaping as soon as you exhale out. I want you to try and slowly, what's the word? It's like you're creating a little bit of tension in your back throat. If you don't get it the first time, that's fine. It's also quite difficult to not be with you, so I can hear if you can do it properly, but it will be a practice that comes in time. And during today's flow, I might refer to, okay, maybe try and connect back to your Ujjayi breath. It just helps you regulate your breath so you're not letting everything out and trying to grab everything back in. So how can we create this even flow with our breath, with our Ujjayi? So it's like a, yeah. I'll come and work with you guys in person if that didn't work properly, and think about how I can cue it again. But hopefully some of you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, just try and keep an audible breath. Here's another animal for you today. This is my cat Bailey. We're going to start with a shoulder roll. So stay in your seat, and we're just going to roll our shoulders back. If you've got your Ujjayi breath, you can start practicing it now with a slow inhale and exhale. So really work on feeling all the different muscles in your shoulders as we open them up. And switching directions. And back to center. Move into a neck stretch now. So anyone that was here on Thursday, we're going to do our neck stretch, but otherwise grab your left hand, bring it behind you. Grab your right, use your right hand to grab your left wrist. You're going to pull your hand a little bit. So this is what we look like from the back. So pulling it to the right, and then I want you to drop your head over to the right. And we hold that. And again, guys, this is your practice. So if you want to roll the head a little bit further forward rather than to the side, if that feels like a better stretch for you, you sit there. And exhale, slowly release. We're dealing with the spine, so we've got slow movements here. We're going to swap sides, so right hand comes behind you, left hand grabs your right wrist, pulling just a little bit, and then we drop the head to the left, close the eyes over, and feel your breath move to those tight muscles. There's no rushing here. Many times in life we rush around, we've got to-do lists, we tick them off. I found a deeper truth in life to be slowing down and sitting with yourself. Exhale, release back to center. We're going to start moving now, so we take the towel or blanket, whatever you had, put it at the top of your mat. We're going to move into our cat-cow. We're not going to cat-cow yet. We're going to start threading our needle, so we're flossing the spine out. Take your left hand, we're going to thread it underneath your right. Nothing happens in your bottom half of your body. We're staying still, just opening up the front of the spine. And just sit here resting on your head. I'm going to move my cat. Keep going. Inhale, lifting up and swapping sides. Right hand comes under left. Head rests on the ground. Inhale, pressing up. And we're just going to move through those with your breath. Connect back to your breath. Inhale, we lower. And exhale by the time we get to the ground. And inhale, press back up. Swapping sides, exhale down. Inhale up. Swapping sides, exhale down. So we're creating a fluid movement with our body. Not rushing, but giving ourselves time to feel it. In your spine, you actually have space between your vertebrae. All of our twisting moves, anything that flosses our spine, so keep going with your breath, anything that flosses our spine is helping create further space. And with space, we have room to grow. Just one more of these and we'll meet back in tabletop. Beautiful. Gonna get our cat-cow going. So you're next, make sure you're set up right. We want our wrists stacked under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. Once you feel strong in that, you're connected to the earth with your feet and your hands. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the hips, open the heart forward. This is our cow. I used to think this was cat, but this is cow. Exhale, lower the tailbone, suction the stomach, and press the earth away, curling as much as you can. This is our cat. Inhale, dropping the belly, opening up the heart space to the front of your mat. And now move with your breath. Exhale, the spine rolls all the way out. Inhale, opening up the heart. Exhale. And if you want to add some side movements, so you're rolling in a circle, this is your practice. Just to focus on the movement in the spine. And exhale, meet in tabletop. I want you to open up your legs wide to the mat, your knees, sorry, and your big toes are going to touch. We're going to sit back in our balasana. Child's pose, arms extend in front of you. Head comes to the earth if it reaches, but if not, you keep your ears in line with your triceps, so your upper arms. Keep that straight spine. Inhale, lifting up. I want you to bring your knees back under your hips. Feet are in line with your knees, so it's just your normal tabletop position. Your arms are going to start extending. And we're going to keep walking down, so we're trying to keep our hips stacked above our knees. We're going to keep walking forward, lowering our chest to the ground. This is puppy pose. So watch those hips. They're going to try and move forward as you lower down, but I want you to try and keep them above. So all of the work here is in the back. Forehead can rest on the ground. If you're a little more flexible, your chin is resting on the ground. And exhale, we're going to keep your arms, how do I say this? We're moving into Sphinx pose. So your forearms, I want them rested on the ground. Your palms are directly on the ground as well. We're going to take our legs further back behind us, lowering our body onto the ground. We're moving up into Sphinx pose. So your elbows are under your shoulders, your hands, your palms are face down, and your forearms are parallel to each other. Lifting up, opening the chest. Sphinx pose. Exhale, slowly lifting the body up. We're going to tuck the toes. We're going to move into dolphin pose. Now, this can be quite challenging, so you just take your time with it and meet you where you're at. You tuck your toes. We're going to lift our hips so it kind of looks like a down dog with forearms down, but we're aiming to get our ears in line with our forearms. Sorry, in line with our triceps. So our upper arms, we're creating one straight line. And if you've got those flexy hamstrings, you can start moving in, like walking your feet in. But if not, you keep your feet where you're at. Exhale, lower your knees. Sit back into child's pose. So this is a slow practice today, but I still want you to wake parts of your body up. Your dolphin pose prepares you for inversions, strengthening your shoulders. Inhale, shifting forward back onto your forearms as if we're going into Sphinx, but instead we'll get into our plank position. So tuck your toes, engage your core. We're in a forearm plank. Hold this here. With all your breath work, can you connect back to that breath in moments of uncomfortableness? Exhale, lower the belly, untuck the toes, Sphinx pose. Lifting the head up and back. One more time, tuck the toes, lifting up, plank. This time, exhale, slowly lowering to the left side, lowering your hips down to the left. Inhale, back into the middle. Exhale, lowering down to the right. Very controlled. Inhale, back to center. Can this be one fluid movement with you? Exhale, lowering your hips down to the ground again on the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, lowering to the right. 2 more like this, moving with your breath. Your toes will roll over. 1 more, guys. Slow is strong. And when you finished your last one, we meet back in Sphinx. Untuck the toes. Using your forearms and your hands to press the earth away and lift your chest a little higher. Roll those shoulders back. Breathe. Exhale, lowering all the way to the ground, releasing the arms. Place them down beside you. They should feel a little fiery, but not too much. We're going to place our hands now directly under our elbows. So I know it's difficult to work out sometimes. So almost right next to your ribs is where I want your hands. I want you to engage the elbows, magnetize them together. We're going to inhale and roll up into Cobra. Now, in Cobra, guys, engage your core. Actually, come back down. Come back down for me. Before we lift up, I want you to tuck your tailbone down. So we're engaging our core and we're bringing our ribs and our hip bones closer to each other while our tailbone moves down. While this is engaged, I want you to imagine there's someone with a string on the top of your head, and they're not just pulling it up, but they're pulling it forward and up. So we're really shining our heart forward as we lift up in Cobra. Use your elbows and your back, and we're going to lift up. Engage the core. 3, 2, 1, lifting up. Keep that core engaged. Engage the feet, reaching out behind you, pressing onto the mat. Cobra. And inhale, press up. All the way, hips rise to the sky. Untuck the toes. Sorry, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Our first one for today. Ooh. And this is your down dog, so bend your knees if you'd like. Pedal out your feet. Just feel your legs waking up. Inhale, bend your knees. We're going to slowly step forward to the front of our mat. Exhale, forward fold. We're looking to stack our hips above our heels. Our feet are hip-width distance apart. And we let our head hang. Inhale, halfway lift. Opening up the chest, flattening the spine. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, we're going to rise all the way up. Vertebra by vertebra, how slow can you go? Try and feel each vertebra stacking on top of the next. And as you reach standing, our arms come out wide and all the way up to the top. Tadasana. Eyes can gaze over the tips of your fingers, so up to the sky or the roof. Hands come together, heart center. Close your eyes over here, keeping the palms pressed against each other in heart center. I want to teach you a little about this pose here, Tadasana, mountain pose. Our feet will start with the base, hip width distance apart. Feel the ground connected to your feet. Lift your toes a little bit. Monkey grip them as if you're trying to hold onto a pen in between your big toe and the ball of your feet. Really grip the mat or the ground. As we move up our body, keeping the eyes closed, connecting with your breath, I want you to feel your thigh bones lift. Engage your legs. Can you create the strength and lift in your legs that actually lightens the pose? We keep moving up. We feel our hips and our lower abs engaged. Our tailbone behind us is tucked. So not completely tucked, but we're not splaying. We don't have a big curve in our lower back. We are creating one straight, strong mountain in our stance. Further up, our ribs are holding together. Our shoulder blades are down and relaxed. Our palms pressed together, and our crown, the crown of our head, reaches to the sky. So with each inhale, can you feel your body lift? And yet with each exhale, can you feel it ground deeper into the earth? Engage the core, keep that core on. This is the base of all of our poses. When we are in plank, we are in Tadasana or mountain pose, just lying down. When we are in our tree pose, we find Tadasana in one half of our body. This is how we stand, how we move through the world. A lot more intelligence than we give it credit for. When you find that center, inhale, arms are going to rise back up to the sky. When we rise out, lift our arms. I don't want you to lose this pose. Keep your tailbone tucked, engage the core. Your traps, or those muscles behind your neck, are going to want to lift up as you lift your arms. Can you relax your shoulder blades so it comes down? You set your shoulders so your arms are down. Reaching up to the sky without compromising our Tadasana. And exhale all the way down, forward fold. Good job, guys. Forward fold. So we still find Tadasana in our legs. Our tummy is still engaged. But this time we're working to get the crown of our head to the ground. Those thigh bones are still lifting. Those feet are still gripping. And the stronger grip you have, you'll find you'll be able to shift your weight forward even further, keeping that correct alignment of your hips stacked above your knees and your ankles. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands plant on the ground, and you're going to step back into your high plank. I'm watching you guys, you look good. Find your Tadasana here. Let's just stay here for a sec. Tadasana in your whole body, your feet. Your thigh bones are still lifting. Your tailbone's still a little tucked with your lower abs engaged. With our hands though, we're pressing the earth away, almost in our cow position again. One straight spine from your heels to your crown. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, lowering down for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, untuck those toes. We're going to go back into cobra, but again, tuck that tailbone down, engage your lower abs, and we shift our weight forward and up, not just up. This should help the crunching in the lower back. Keep those shoulder blades on, squeezing together, and exhale, lifting up. Lifting your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Connect back to your breath here. Inhale, feet come together at the back of the mat. Exhale, right leg comes to the sky. Toes pointing down, flexing the foot. Tuck that knee into your chest, tapping that right elbow and straight back out. Slow, slow. Inhale, tucking the knee in, shifting your weight forward. Tap that right elbow straight back out. Inhale again. And this time we'll plant the foot next to that right hand. Beautiful. Lowering that back leg. Untuck the toe. Lifting your hands to the sky. Our crescent lunge or Anjaneyasana. And here we find Tadasana in our upper body before we begin our back bend. So this is a hip opener. We're opening up that left hip, keeping a right angle in our front leg. Arms raised to the sky. In our Tadasana, we keep the core engaged. As we reach, our shoulder blades stay locked in place, so our traps are not up near our ears. And exhale, try and open the heart a little more so we're back bending. And if you're not here yet, that's so fine. You stay straight up. Exhale, hands come to the ground. Walk that right foot out just a little. So both your hands are on the inside of your right leg. We're going to tuck that back toe, lift it up. And this is a lizard lunge. So you should be feeling it in that back left leg. We're opening up the groin, creating space. Beautiful. Lower that back leg, untuck the toe again, and we'll stay in this position, back in our lizard lunge. You'll find your mind will wander. Can you bring it back to the task at hand? Opening up your hips. Exhale, I want you to set up your back leg. So I want you to tuck your toe, bring it in just a little. So we begin to straighten the front leg. And we're planting that back leg to the top left-hand corner of the mat. Walk that front foot in just a little so your feet are hip width distance apart, like width-wise. So your heels should not be in alignment with each other. There should be a hip width distance between them. Straighten that front leg. We're going to sweep our arms up, straight up to the sky, as if we're in Warrior One, but the front leg is straight. Use that monkey grip in your feet to keep you stable. We're going to bring our arms down. We're going to go into pyramid. If you can, so keep your pose in your legs, but I'll show you something. If you can, we're going to bring both palms to meet at your lower back. Even mine are not fully there yet. So if we can't do that, I want you to try this one, where both your palms are flat on your lower back. Again, if we're not there, you turn them around and flatten your lower back. Okay, so you choose which variation you'd like. I love a prayer pose, so I'm going to stay in that, but it's totally up to where you're up to, okay? Engage the core, and we're just going to slowly shift our weight forward and fold over that front leg. And you meet yourself where you're at, so you pause when you're done. You hold it. Shifting that focus back to your breath. Finding the strength and space in your spine. Engaging the core. And exhale, lifting back up. Hands rise to the sky. We bend that front leg, arms come down. Bring the front foot to meet the back foot. You might need to walk them both back a little bit. We're setting back up into our down dog. Connecting to your breath here. Next, exhale, bring the feet together to meet at the back of the mat. Left leg rises to the sky. Inhale, tuck the leg, tap the left elbow, exhale, straight back out. Slow and steady. Inhale, tucking the leg. Tapping and straight back out. One more time. And this time we plant our foot. And then on the inside of our left hand. Anjaneyasana, lowering the back leg, untucking the toe. And lifting our upper body up. Each inhale, we rise a little higher. And exhale, sinking in our legs a little deeper. You open up the chest as you can. Exhale, arms come down. We lift that back, walk the front leg out to the outside of your left hand, so it's on the outside. And we lift that back leg up, lizard lunge. So feel free to move around a little bit, but we're opening up the right hip. I kind of like the poses named after animals because you get a chance to play. How would a lizard move? Very, very flexible. Lowering that back leg. See if you can sink a little deeper. Inhale, lift that back leg, and we're going to set it back up so the front leg walks in a little bit. So it's back on the inside of our front hand, right leg, setting up like warrior one. So facing the top right corner of your mat, straightening the front leg as we come up. Arms extend to the sky. Palms are facing each other. Arms come together on your back, whatever that looks like. If it's palms up, Could be fingers pointing down if you need to. Other variation, if none of those work, just hands on hips. So, or prayer pose. Monkey grip the floor, engage the tummy. We're slowly shifting our weight. Forward fold. This is called pyramid pose. Try and really use the front leg inner seam. So use that big foot, that monkey grip to keep you straight. Inhale, lifting back up. Great work, guys. Arms come up to the sky. Bend the front knee. Arms come back down, touching the ground, and we're going to set back up into our down dog. Front leg goes back to meet our back. And hips to the sky. Feet are hip width distance apart. If you need, you bend. Importantly, most is those hips up to the sky. Then we work on opening the hamstrings. Where's your breath at? Inhale, look to your hands. We're going to drop our knees to the ground. Untuck the toes. And take a big exhale out as we move into Balasana, child's pose. Just stay here for me. And I want you to think about that exhaling breath. I'm sure you've done it before, or you've heard other people sigh, those big sighs. So those sighs are about cleansing, clearing. Sometimes not always warranted, but in some circumstances can be very helpful. So I don't want you to be afraid of making noise to let that go. Be aware it's letting go of a lot of energy as well. So only in a space where you can hold a bit of vulnerability do we exhale with force and cleanse ourselves. Inhale, rising back up. We're going to move into King Pigeon. So you can just walk your feet forward, sit back on your butt. And I'm going to show it to you maybe like on this angle. That looks good. So we're going to create a rectangle with our legs. So if you can see, it might feel a little uncomfortable, feel like it's not right, but you'll have a gap in between your knee and your front foot, but I want you to bring your left foot over your right. I want your left ankle a little bit further crossed over than your right thigh. Both your feet are flexed, and we're creating these we're working to get our thigh bones parallel to each other. They're not going to be completely, that's okay, but I don't want them out as if we're just crossed our legs, okay? So that's why we bring the top foot over a little bit more to try and create that parallel train tracks. And both your shins will be parallel to the top of your mat or to each other. Okay, so this is called King Pigeon, and this is opening up whatever leg is on top, but we're also opening up that hamstring. So our left hamstring's opening up. Now, we can use a prop here. Depending on how thick your blanket is, you can place it, and on your flexibility, you can place it in front of you. Most of you might just meet yourself here. That might be where you're at, and that's okay. You can place the blanket as a little bit of support for your stomach. But if you are a bit more flexible, you can start leaning forward onto it. Ideally, we use a bolster. We place the bolster here and we can lean completely on top of it, right? But if we don't have a big cushion, kind of, or the blanket's not big enough, we just meet ourselves where we're at, okay? Close your eyes over for me. If you start feeling pins and needles, if you start feeling any kind of sharp pains, I want you to slowly come back out of it. Some people tend to push themselves a lot in the hamstring poses, so otherwise, find yourself again through your breath as we sit here. Keep those feet flexed for me. And perhaps you can walk your hands a little further now. Perhaps you find there's a little more space in your hamstring than before. Exhale, rising back up. And we're going to swap sides. So left leg's now on the bottom, right leg's going on top, flexing our feet. You have a look down, work out, are your thigh bones parallel to each other? Enough. Okay. It's going to look a little wonky. Your right leg is a little further out off your knee, but your shins are parallel to each other. They're in line with each other. Grab your blanket or your towel, perhaps your bolster, and we fold over slowly. And inhale, rising up. We're going to go into a single leg forward fold. So if you want, you can sit on your blanket or your bolster or your towel, just a little bit off the edge, like I told you before. We're going to take that front foot out, left foot out in front of us. Right leg comes to the inner seam. This is where, if you want, your strap or whatever it is you've got could be handy. If it's long enough, you can, and you're not flexible enough and you want to feel what it is to fold over, you can grab your strap or your towel or whatever it is, and we wrap it around the ball of our foot. I hope you've got clean feet. And as we're sitting up, so that this elevation just gives us a bit more room to fold over, and you just meet yourself where you're at. So your left arm will grab both sides of the scarf or the towel, and you're just going to pull your leg a little bit more than what you can, and you fold forward into that, okay? You keep moving your arm as necessary. So your arm ideally can be straight, but you meet yourself where you're at. And we fold forward, and we're working for a flat spine. So spine remains straight. And our body folds over. Connecting back with your breath. Exhale, release, let that go. Swapping sides. Bring your left leg, your left foot into your right inner seam of your thigh, wrapping the whatever prop you're using to assist you today around the balls of your feet, finding the space in your spine, and we fold forward as you can. And exhale, releasing that. I just want to get you into one more position before we move into our Shavasana. Roll, make sure that towel or blanket, whatever you use, is comfortable, neat. We're going to place it underneath our back, so it's going to be about here. The end of it will be at the bottom of your shoulder blades, okay? So we're going to be opening up our chest. So we place it at the base of our spine. You can keep your legs crossed or let them out, up to you. You could even put them in bandha, so bind, so you put your feet together, knees out. And when you're comfortable, we lean back onto our towel and we open our arms up wide. This is a chest opener, heart opener. And if you're confused about where it is, at the base, your tailbone, the base of your tailbone, look, mine's going to go all the way up to my neck. That's okay. Don't worry about it finishing under your shoulder blades. So just as long as it's rolled up in the middle and you've got room to open up. Take a few deep breaths here. Find what works comfortably with your legs. And release your muscles. Feel your breath deep in your belly. Feel your breath as your chest rises and falls. Let go of the tensions in your shoulders and melt. Inhale. I want your knees to come together, your feet are flat on the ground, and we're going to just roll over and remove the blanket. Don't disturb yourself too much. Remove your blanket, your prop. If you'd like, you can place it under your knees. If you have lower back problems, this is always really good for it. The blanket can go under your knees. And we're setting up for Shavasana. So tuck your shoulder blades under your chest a little. Fold your arms out. Palms up to the ground. Let the feet relax. Close your eyes over. And find your quiet. And slowly begin to deepen your breath. Making your way back to the room that you're in. You slowly rise to a comfortable seat with your eyes closed. Hands come to heart center. Just revisit your intention from the beginning of class. Thank you so much for practicing with me and sharing this practice with each other. And I think it's important to thank yourself. So please do that. Namaste.